And it's that time when we have tea and bring you the biggest entertainment stories this morning. This is Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa. I'm Tokunbo Taiwo, and as always, I'm not alone. I'm here with the familiar Ife Oshunkeye.
What's good, bro?
So it was like an eventful weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so many things to attend.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. So how did your event go yesterday?
Yeah, it was great. The Alibaba Spontaneity show was very exciting.
Okay.
A lot of upcoming comedians were very spontaneous. Like, it was very good.
So Alibaba was the main person. They went
No. There were judges.
Other...
TA was part of the panel of judges.
Okay.
TA, Saka, Funny Bone, and a host of others. Yeah.
Okay. Alagbara, that was the TV premiere that took place yesterday, the one I went to see. So that was quite good. A lot of celebrities, it's Yoruba, Nollywood, so they turned up as well. But it was quite interesting, well organized, and it was in collaboration with Star Times. But we'll be bringing you subsequent reports in our subsequent tea times. So you can look forward to maybe this afternoon or later. Anyway, we'll bring you those reports.
And then
later.
you can let out the African International Film Festival on Saturday.
Exactly.
Yes,
we can't forget that as well.
Yeah, that was
so we have a lot of reports for you guys. You just keep watching Tea Time. We'll bring you those reports in our subsequent editions. So moving on to our first story for this morning. Wizkid's death has nothing to do with this fight. Club DNA explains, and Wizkid also reacts as well. This is really quite interesting because it has to do with his bodyguard, Roy.
Yeah, Roy.
You know, so there's been so many stories. Roy is saying it's one-sided. The other person is saying another thing, and then the club itself has released an official statement, haven't they? So, okay.
But it wasn't Roy that said anything at first because I think it was the bloggers.
Okay, before we even talk about the bloggers, Ife, you were always there at this event, so just rewind and retrack and roll the tape. You know what happened and what went wrong.
So apparently, what was reported at first was on Friday, that was November 15. Roy, who doubles as the chief bouncer of DNA Night Club, got into
I just wanted to clarify. So he doubles as the chief bouncer, and he's also
Wizkid's personal bouncer when he's in Nigeria, and even sometimes when he travels. He was the same guy that came out a few weeks back to say
that he's grateful
to Wizkid and all of that. So apparently, he got into an argument with somebody in the club. That was what was reported. They said, no, at first they said it was a fellow bouncer, and it was over the fact that they said Wizkid was lying about buying the Lamborghini car he just acquired because it was owing the club some millions of naira, and then they were wondering, like, come on, man, it doesn't make any sense. This guy is still owing, and they said Roy was saying that he's going to settle his debt as soon as he's back in the country because Wizkid is away at the moment, and then DNA released a statement saying that wasn't what happened, that it was just indiscipline on the part of two staff members of their club that got into a fight, and it had nothing to do with Wizkid's death, and they did not refute the fact that Wizkid is owing them a lot of money, which is
the thing is they haven't clarified if it's a lot. They just said this is a different matter altogether, and they didn't want to address it.
Yeah, they said they would in due time,
exactly,
and they
because
would.
At the end of the day, I agree with them. This is not about Wizkid. Whether he owes them or not, it's a separate matter altogether.
It's a separate matter.
And once they want to bring it out to the public, they will let us know. But I think they're not even worried that Wizkid will not pay. Whether it's little, whether it's a lot, I think they know that Wizkid will pay eventually. So I think this case, like they said, is not really about the money.
No, it's not about the money. That's what the club is saying. But it's not even about the debts. It's not about the Lamborghini or anything, according to the club. But that might just be damage control anyways, because you don't know. These people can get, like someone like Roy is very protective of Wizkid. So if you are telling him his boss is lying about buying a car that he knows his boss can obviously afford, but a lot of people are beginning to doubt that is Wizkid also part of the celebrities living the fake life, coming out to say, oh, I own this, I own that. They go to the club and lavish a lot of money and they don't even pay. Because this is not the first time. If you remember, what started Wizkid and Davido's beef was a nightclub incident where it was alleged that Davido got really drunk, and then Wizkid left him at the club and didn't pay the bills, and that was why Davido was mad at Wizkid, and that was what started the whole beef. They just settled and all of that. So this is not the first time that it has been reported that Wizkid hasn't been paying his bills in the club, but it's expected of from the thing is the thing is, let me explain now. It's expected because sometimes when you get to these clubs, they don't even tell you. They'll tell you, no, it's fine. They'll keep telling you. Then later, because of who you are, they'll tell you, okay, we're going to take half of the money. So if I'm in a club to spend ₦1 million, and then you bring drinks worth ₦3 million, and then people drink and drink and drink, and then later you send me a bill and you say that, okay, your bill was ₦3 million, but you pay ₦2 million, and I'm like, what? I wanted to spend ₦1 million. So it's possible that it accumulates that way because sometimes you live above your budget.
I think you still have the right, regardless of whatever the club.
You know the lifestyle that these guys live now. They don't check the price anymore. Do you get? It's not like when you get somewhere, you're like, okay, the first thing you tell you, let me see your menu, and then you pick.
Let's try and get things on scale. If you, let's just say, let's even bring it down to our level. If you went into a club and you said, they know you as a regular in the club, and and you always pay, and you always order, and you always pay, and you always order, and then on a particular time, you owe them a little money.
No, it happens.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you still have to foot that bill, whether they made it 1 million, whether they made it 2 million, whether they made it 3 million.
Yeah,
my point, let me land, is that if you're not satisfied in that first instance, then you should know that, okay, that's not the kind of club you should be patronizing if they've done it once or twice until it escalates to the millions.
But sometimes they are the ones that would invite you to the club, like,
that's what I'm saying. It's left for you to refuse to go. You don't have to go.
And all of that. So sometimes people, like, they just dip it down your throat. Like, you can't refuse.
Are you saying that Wizkid doesn't have any strength?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it also happens this way.
No, I think Wizkid allowed it.
Anyway, let's go back to Roy. So Roy was allegedly macheted by the.
And did you see the picture? It was very
really
gory.
graphic.
Graphic. Oh my goodness.
Really graphic, but it was a very deep cut. And then Wizkid tweeted something, and in words I can say, they run. And because we're going to kill you.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that is very wrong because
very
God
wrong,
forbid something happens to that guy and he's not even involved.
He will be the first suspect.
Yeah, he will be the first suspect because you're like, we're going to kill you. That's a
you don't say that exactly, and you don't say that publicly.
Yeah, publicly.
And you being a public figure in public saying something like that is just so not on.
But it still goes back to the fact that most of them feel like they feel the need. They have to be gangbangers like American artists these days, and that is why.
Yeah, but even so, they don't come out to actually say something like that.
Yes,
on
they do. But they have the bragging right because they are not hiding it. They're telling you, oh, we're blood, we're Crips, we're this, we're that. But you guys are forming the bad guys, and then you're not coming out publicly to say, okay, this is what we represent. And there are lots of them now coming out to say, okay, this is what we represent, which is why Davido was also involved in all those allegations of when his friends died, saying that, okay, his clan must have had something to do with it. But who knows?
All right, time for a break. When we return, we'll be bringing you news on DJ Cuppy and the Duke of Shomolu. We'll be right back.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am.
If you no talk, dem go beat you.
Na 2,500 they pay.
Welcome Welcome back. You're watching Tea Time right here on Plus TV Africa. Up next, and as mentioned before the break, DJ Cuppy gets proposed to in a newspaper by the Duke of Shomolu. So, this is really, really quite interesting because I don't know. It sounds kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
Because. And I remember when the Prince of Wales came as well, he was saying something about the Prince of Wales did not acknowledge his presence, and he was instead talking about jollof rice. So I don't know if this is someone we should actually take seriously, because he was talking about that then, and now he's talking about, getting married.
I don't even want to go back to when he was talking about the Duke of Wales, because I don't even know why you think he should be recognized by the Duke of Wales.
He is saying he's the 114th or 115 to the line. In the line of throw to the kingdom. I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I should take this guy serious.
What would get to the throne?
It's so laughable. It's so laughable.
So back to DJ Cuppy. DJ Cuppy, I think this is a sign from God, though. I think the next guy you find very attractive and you fall in love with, just marry, because is right now. I think people are just every Tom, Dick, and Harry is just proposing to her right now.
Yeah, but
just recently, Speed Darlington
also
expressed his interest in DJ Cuppy, and now this Duke of Shomolu. But if you ask me, I went back to see if there is any stormy waters between the Duke of Shomolu and Femi Otedola, because I think this is like shading Femi Otedola, because even while you were proposing to his daughter and asking for a hand in marriage, you went on to say this would help your status, and then you would not have to be taking selfies in commercial buses anymore. And I'm like,
no,
what is that?
That's what I was saying, that it's laughable, and I think he's just done it out of humor.
That you would now be able to get into countries like Libya, Congo without visa. And I'm like, Femi Otedola owns private jets. He doesn't need.
You see, if that's the reason why I think this was done in humor. And don't forget, DJ.
I think it's a shade to Femi Otedola.
No, but DJ Cuppy actually posted this on social media herself as well. And I'm thinking, if she really took offense, she would not have bothered to post it.
No, she didn't take offense. She didn't take him seriously.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why Otedola won't take it seriously.
And then you're asking the Cuppy to be your sixth wife, not even your first wife.
I think this whole thing is just humor.
So I think this guy is just a joker.
So I think Otedola won't take it seriously.
Would you respect, sir, the Duke of Shomolu? I can't even find your picture online, sir.
I saw a picture. I saw him standing by his supposed royal throne, but did you see any reactions, by the way? Anyone saying anything?
No, people are just laughing. People just find it very hilarious and all of that. But I didn't pinpoint any particular comments or reaction like that, because as soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh, this is just a joke. And this is just a shade of Femi Otedola. So what I was more focused on was to find out the history between this Duke of Shomolu and Femi Otedola, if they have any beef going on, ongoing rivalry or something. But nothing came up. So watch the space. I'll dig something up real quick.
All right, time for another break. When we come back, it'll be time for a completely different story on Anita Okoye. Keep it here. It's where the big stories live. This is Plus TV Africa.
When I did it, I was full on, hands-on on the whole project.
So how did you deal with it? All of that negativity?
I got depressed, obviously. Duh. Haven't you heard?
I've got two of the hottest topics currently trending on social media.
If you've seen the word Senate trending on Twitter, that's because the Nigerian police force has gone Trump style.
I haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about like 100 people asking for help a day. That's a fact. I can prove that.
Welcome back. It's still tea time right here on Plus TV Africa, and we're swiftly moving on to our next story. Anita Okoye tells Paul and Peter on their 39th birthday, "We love you too, and are wishing you God's love and peace." This is really very sweet, isn't it, from Anita? Or you think there's more to it because your was like...
No, well, the thing is, I think, was it Anita or what's the other girl's name? The other wife? Omotayo Okoye. I can't remember her first name. Omolola.
How could I forget? The mixed race girl.
Yeah, that's Lola Omotayo. What that Wizkid's baby mama, the Omotayo girl.
Yeah, that's Wizkid's baby mama.
Tanya Omotayo, that's the elder sister. And our own prayer was different. She was like, she's praying for God's intervention in the case of both of them, and they love them and all of that. So I think this is a way of the wives coming out to say, look, it's not like we're in support of their breakup, like people have speculated, like they're behind it. Is as was when they got married that all of their problems started and all of that. So I think they're being supportive. But if you read the comments of the other girl, closely,
or Anita,
okay, she didn't say anything about their feud or anything like that.
She's not supposed to, though.
Well, but the first lady said something like to show us that, look, it's not like we're in support of what is going on between the both of them. But the other lady just spoke to her husband and the other guy and was like, okay, yeah, happy birthday. And she just wished them well generally. But I'm glad that Omotayo was able to talk about it and let the world know that she's not in support, because really, I think it's the onus lies in their court to bring them back together as brothers.
No, not necessarily. Why?
Well, that's what I believe, because as a wife, it's not cool. These are not just
These are
brothers.
Two grown men. They don't need their wives for them to, be the one to settle them.
No, you don't need your wife. But well, if I was a woman and I was married to one of them, I could even go on strike and be like, look, until you settle your brother, I'm not coming back home.
No, yes. I think that's seriously, a kind of archaic kind of mentality.
Oh, well, call me archaic, call me
sorry to say, but
I think that is how it's supposed to be. Come on, how can anybody be
but
cool?
the thing is, at the end of the day, do you think the wives have not, spoken to each and every one of them since from the get-go? They would have. Look, but at the end of the day, it still boils down to them.
You don't know how mighty powerful a woman
That's what I'm saying, yes. But at the end of the day, it still matters. It still boils down to them. There's only so far Anita can go. There's only so far Lola herself can go.
No,
you can't. And then what you're saying is that she should manipulate the guys to do it.
Come together and they want Peter and Paul to come back. Look, it would happen like this.
No, that's not how it works. And I think the way Anita is going about it right now is a stepping stone to them getting there. This is a stepping stone. Before you know it, another thing is going to happen. Another thing is going to happen. And before we know it, there's no more rift.
Well, if you say so, but in my opinion, I think they can do better. They really can do better.
But the thing is, if I understand where you're coming from, but do you not think they've done anything in the past at all as these two women that it's not even in the public?
Tried, exactly. And we're not even sure if they have tried.
But they must have in one way or another. They don't need to tell us publicly.
Well, we don't know, but at least one is talking about it right now, which is progress.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
That's the way I see it.
Yes, but the other one who is not talking about it, I think she's cool with it. In my opinion, like I'm serious, like she's cool with it. Like, man, you guys can do whatever. I think that she's having your modern mentality and not the archaic mentality.
What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, we cannot, because we don't know it for a fact. We cannot say, okay, just because we don't know it, she hasn't tried. I'm just saying, let's be fair.
She hasn't tried.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying that, look, from our comments, from my birthday, where she didn't mention it, she didn't say anything. I'm not saying it's compulsory, but a comment came before yours. Do you understand? And she spoke about it. Why didn't you jump on that bandwagon? Why didn't you milk that?
That's what I'm saying. If you always do this, she doesn't have to be you or do things in the way you want it to be done.
I'm just saying that, well, I'm a wise man, so I believe people should do it they should do things like wise people.
And that's why I say, when you say you're a wise person, that means she's so foolish, because the opposite... She should take the initiative. I don't even know where to start. So you're saying your lips are sealed. All of a sudden, what happened to the very outspoken Ife Oshike? I have never known you to seal your lips.
I'll never call a woman foolish. I don't want. But
you said you're wise. So you're implying that the other person is not wise. And what does that mean?
Okay, maybe I'm wiser.
Oh, even worse. Good.
Oh, it doesn't stop her from being wise. It just means I'm wiser. That's what it means.
Oh, seriously, I think Lola is so gonna hate you if we ever invite her on this show. She'll be like, seriously, dude, was that what you said about me?
Well, I'm just being a realist, mom.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think you can be more diplomatic in how you tell her she's done.
Well, it's nice you spoke about your brother-in-law and your husband, and you're wishing them well, but I think you guys can do a lot better in bringing these two back together. Because that's just
all right. If aside from the two wives, who else do you think can bring the two of them together?
Duke of Shomolu, the elder brother.
So you're blaming him as well. He should take initiative and take responsibility for his younger brothers.
Yeah, there's a saying in Yoruba that says,
yeah, but they're not Yoruba now. If come on now, they're not Yoruba. Good heavens, you can't use your own culture on another person. It's about what? About
a proverb.
What? A proverb?
Yeah, I was going to say a proverb, but now I'm not even going to say it again because
we
all learn. When we listen to Igbo proverb by what's it called? Peter Doche, we don't say, oh, I'm not Igbo, so that's not my business. Do you understand? We still listen to the proverb because it makes sense. So why won't you let me say my own proverb?
I allowed you, and you said no. You've changed your mind because
I'm upset. I'm upset.
If I was going to give us a Yoruba proverb to guys that are not even Yoruba, seriously, Ife, I think you can do better.
I think you're just a sellout Yoruba man.
I am not fully Yoruba, for crying out loud, Ife.
Well, your first name implies you're Yoruba. That's horrible.
Not necessarily. We have Yemi Alade, who's half and half.
Your first and your last name are. Who cares? Your dad is Yoruba. That's all that matters.
No, that's not all that matters because I'm half and half.
Okay.
Anyway, this show is not about me, it's about tea time, and we're talking about celebrities. I think we should move on to our next story. Up next, Runtown needs help naming his new pet lion. Very, very interesting, actually, because I saw the pet lion, and it was a white...
a white pet lion.
Pet lion, yes. Do you have any idea like how much these pet lions go for?
It's going to, I don't have any idea how much precisely, but I know it must have cost a fortune.
Because one of the things, when I was digging, I was like trying to see, but unfortunately I couldn't really find much. But what I found was as far back as 1995, and that was Mike Tyson, who bought a tiger at the time, a baby tiger, and he bought that for £4,000, but like I said, that was like years ago.
That's cheap.
No, that was years ago. I think at that time it wouldn't have sounded so cheap, and it was a baby, because like in the modern day times, I know it would be much more expensive.
Davido is so funny. He named the God forbid. That was the name he gave for
Is that how you be calling your tiger, baby tiger? God forbid, can you come here? Or
Well, I think this is really cool though. At least a lion, that's something different. And Runtown has always shown that he's a very unique being. He calls himself the sound god, so no wonder you would want to hold a lion.
Like in the West, this is like the norm. A lot of celebrities do it, but I don't know about here in Nigeria. Do you know any celebrity apart from him who has actually acquired any kind of exotic animal?
I don't know celebrities, but I know very rich families that own exotic
pets here in Nigeria.
Tigers, lions, snakes, anacondas, and stuff like that. But I think it's illegal in some countries, so I don't know about the legality, so I'm not going to call out names before we have people knocking on my friends' doors and they'll be like, you're a snitch, bro.
So what do you think this having exotic pets, what does that mean? Do you think it's a kind of a way to show off in a different way, or do you think they really have an affinity for animals?
I think it's more of affinities for animals, because I have a friend that won't own a dog or a cat or your regular pets, but he'd rather get stuff like birds, rabbits, and stuff like that. So I think fish, Jige owns aquarium, and I know a family that owns like different species of snakes, like, do you understand?
That poison, non-poisonous?
Non-venomous, of course, but the ones, they have one that can wrap around you and actually
the python,
the life out of
the
you.
anaconda.
So I really don't know what's precise, so I don't want to,
So if let's bring it down to earth, bring it to us, bring it here at tea time. Would you own an exotic pet? Are you an animal person?
Yeah, I'm an animal person. I love dogs, but a lion now that I see Runtown, that's a very cute lion, by the way. So maybe I'll probably get a lion myself.
A lion, but they don't get cute for that long once they start getting.
Well, then we'll have them in the cage where they belong.
Oh.
But I'm sure no, by now you will rip out like the paws, the sharp tooth, and just leave a little for it to be able to feed. So it won't be that dangerous. And with proper training.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, animals will always be animals.
Yeah, but with proper training, they're loyal to.
I think one of the people that that I know, you know, was like the king of the animal kingdom in terms of owning exotic pets was the late Michael Jackson, you know, who had everything.
Yeah, but he turned this to a zoo at the end of the day. So, yeah. So.
Well, at the end of the day, he still had it in his private home, which suggests that he liked them as pets as well, because if he didn't...
Michael Jackson liked a lot of things,
yeah.
So, yeah. And he could afford it.
What are you saying? Even these guys can afford it, but they don't necessarily have affinity for animals.
Possible. Yeah. Possibly, and they're just being wise as well, because like you said, animals will always be animals. You don't want
They're just being wise as well. Oh, if...
I'm not calling anybody.
Yes, you are, because you know that's where I'm going. Anyway, guys, it's a wrap. Join us this afternoon for a brand new episode of Tea Time. Also, then a big thank you to my co-anchor, Ife, the entire production team as well, and our stylist, courtesy of Kudi's Empire. I'm Tokumbo Taiwo saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you later this afternoon. Bye.